Today, my friends, we are going to cover the best tips to strike your irons pure. It feels so good when you get a good pure iron strike. But here's the thing, if you are trying to strike down so much, if you're trying to either hit down or lift the ball up, you're gonna be struggling, especially with consistency. But there's good news, because when you apply even just one of the tips I'm going to give you today to strike your irons pure with effortless power, you're going to be emulating some of the best ball strikers in the world, and it is so easy. It's more effortless, and it is about hitting through, which is so good because at the end of the day, that's our target as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, we are going to get into the nitty-gritty straight away. We're going to go over a few kind of key moves and thoughts, and I know one of them is going to really work very well. But first, I'm going to talk about the issues of hitting down on it and why it's screwing you up. We're just going to cover that so we can understand the why. Then you can be like, okay, is this right for me or not? And then if not, we'll see you in the next video. But if it is, you'll keep watching, all right? So basically what I'm talking about is the hitting down element. We still, especially when it's muddy or like wet, we really do need to get that ball first contact, but we do not want to be digging down and hard, because that's when it screws up. That's when the fat shots happen, because oftentimes when we're trying to hit down, okay, when we're trying to hit down, we end up sort of dumping the ball, the club, this is the club, right? We dump it down here, which is bloody annoying because we'll end up getting a chunky shot, or as like a self-preservation, we'll sort of feel like we're getting to here, and because we're decent athletes, no matter if you would say that you're not, instinctively you would sort of try and rescue it because you're like, okay, I've cast it down here, I've dumped it, and now I'm going to sort of shove it through. And what that's going to cause is this sort of swing that's, you know, trying to hit at the ball down, and then a sort of shove like this, okay? And you're like, I can't get height on it, because that sort of did a low kind of crap shot really. So we're trying to get height on it. So then what happens is you think, well, okay, I need to perhaps hit down more, because you've heard you hit down, you get backspin, right? So you try and do it more and more, and you just end up dumping the club, hitting at it. And here's the thing, when you hit at it, you screw everything. So is this sounding a little familiar? It should be, because this is so common. People forget, especially when we're thinking about golf swings, we forget the swing part, because it is a movement, it's a flowing movement, and the objective is to send something that way, all right? It's not a golf hit. I mean, we use that term because we're striking, we're hitting something, and we want to strike it pure. But the energy, everything has to be moving that way. So if you keep hitting down, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse for you. The contacts, the lack of distance, and what happens sometimes is you end up sort of chicken winging, trying to lift it up because you're hitting down and you're trying to rescue and lift it up. If this is sounding at all familiar, let me know below. It doesn't mean, you know, there isn't that feel that has to happen at sometimes, and that's where golf can be really freaking annoying, because it's kind of this tightrope that we go one way or the other. But I assure you, the more that you focus on through, whether it's with the driver or even the, you know, with the irons, you are going to get more consistent, pure strikes. I promise you. So how do we go about it? Let's find out. Okay, tip number one is perhaps the sneakiest, the easiest, the quickest you can do, right? All you need to do is think about your eye and where you are looking, okay? So when you like get up out your chair right now and put a golf ball on the floor, what do you think you're looking at when you set up to it, right? Are you looking at the back of the ball, the top of the ball, the grass around? I actually get really annoyed myself because my eyes tend to dart around. That's an issue of mine. It doesn't have to be for you. But a very easy, quick tip is to focus on the ground just past the ball. That's it. We just want to pass just past the ball, okay? Super, super easy. You do that, already instinctively, your intent, your motion is going to move the low point, all right? You've probably heard about this, like moving the low point past the ball, okay? Because with an iron, we want to strike the ball first and then the turf, right? I'm not going to go into big details with it, but the idea is we don't want the complete bottom of the arc to be at the ball. We want it to be just after. That's where we get the ball sort of turf contact, all right? So just by, and you'd be amazed by this, just by focusing on just past the ball, you will improve your strikes, I promise you. And a little hack you can do just to sort of emphasize it is, like, if you're really struggling with your irons, okay, just take your setup position and instead of looking at the back of the ball, just look about a club head or an inch or two past it, a little blade of grass there, okay? And you're going to make your swing and you're going to just swing through. That's it. You're not going to change anything else. It's the most impactful, excuse the pun, change you can make, because already it changes your intent from being at the golf ball to being slightly more through, all right? That's key. If you don't know already, what we talk about is so important, of making sure you're picking your target, that you're releasing to your target, that everything is about that way. It's not about hitting at the ball. That's where over the top comes from. That's where slices come from. That's where fats come from. The more you focus on that way, the better it's going to be, okay? So if you want to pause the video or stop the video and come back next time, try that. I'm pretty sure it's going to work very well for you. But if you want to take it to the next level, we'll find out how now. So the next one is about flow. Again, making the intent about going through, not at, not hitting down and at. And it comes with the weight shift. So all we're going to do is try and practice a movement that has more flow to it, where we're shifting weight. Now, we certainly don't want to be swaying, but here's the feel that I want you to have. I'm going to actually do a longer video on this, but we're going to cover it with the irons, just a hair here. What we're going to do is you're going to feel a little bit more weight as you start. So about 60 to 70% here on your lead side, okay? Then you're going to shift the weight back onto the inside of the trail leg, right? With your righty lefty trail leg. Then we're shifting the weight here, okay? So we're loading up, but we're starting momentum. If you look, if I have the club feeling loose and heavy, I've got a good grip, but I'm feeling heavy arms, okay? I'm starting momentum like this, okay? We're doing that. But what we're focusing on is a feel of flow. So what happens is when you get to like the arms about waist high, about this halfway position, your intent and feel is going to be moving back in this direction. So it's sort of like a move and a shift, a flow. You see this? It's like a flow. And what that does, it automatically provides energy that is balancing you out, so the arc, the low point is going to be just after, but it's giving you the flow and momentum that you need to swing through, not at it. One of the easiest things you can do is make your setup and just do like hinge your wrist just a little bit on the way back, not fully, we're not going fully hinge, we're just sort of collecting it to here, so I can feel the weight of the club. All right, so I can feel the weight of the club and I shift forward, back and through. And what that's going to do is train my impact. So I'm getting through that way. So you can practice that drill, which is simply here, shift, shift. Okay, so the next feel we're going to do is sort of a little bit more advanced, but it's very important. But there's a caveat to it, and this is why I wanted to cover it, because people get screwed up when they hear, you know, shifting and moving down. That's when it gets stuck. And that's why golf is hard, right? But we have to couple the move that I'm going to talk about in a second with a flowing sort of shift and the final component. A lot of this is like piecing it together. So we're doing it by little building blocks, all right? So this is about moving from the backswing placement here. We don't want to just flap the arms. We don't want to spin the hips. Don't want any of that nonsense. To strike the irons pure, the feeling I want you to have is obviously that sort of weight shift that we were just covering, but to ensure that your upper body is not sort of tilting or leaning back this way too much, we're going to feel like this left chest, okay, from the top of the backswing, as we shift down, this is actually moving down. It's moving down that way towards the ball, just past it. That's one of the key moves to the best ball strikers in the world. If you can couple that with a flowing swing and the next component, you are really good. But it's like one of the easiest swings to do is left chest down, okay, left chest down. With flow, that's pretty much going to give you a solid, good golf. So putting that into reality, okay, we're looking at the front of the ball. We are allowing some flow as we move back. We're allowing that shift to happen and a nice natural flow that's going through. But as we get to this position, to enable that compression and that strong movement without extra effort, the left shoulder is going to feel like it's going down just a little bit longer. We're not trying to help it up in the air, but we're also, sorry to say, we're not moving the head too much, okay? It's just a feeling of this left shoulder moving that way, more that way rather than this way, okay? Does that make sense? Let me know if it makes sense. And you can rehearse this without a club, just here, feeling that movement going down, because it's going down but through, all right? That's where it gets interesting, that's where it gets fun, that's where you get better. And on to the last little bit, which is about the release. Finally, piecing either all of these together or just one of them. A couple are going to give you more bang for the buck. I would say the eyes in front, but also this one, okay, is very easy. Because all I'm asking you to do is as you swing, as you try and collect this golf ball and swing through, you're going to focus on straightening the arms past impact. That's it. You do that, a lot will take care of itself. So as you come through this way, okay, we are not trying to hold on with bent arms. We're not trying to lift it up. We are allowing the arms to straighten for the natural gravitational pull to straighten and pull us out that way. And that's why piecing that together is going to give you the results that you want. So I'm not trying to overwhelm here, but I'm trying to make this comprehensive so you can know what you need to work on. So the feeling of the arms straightening past the ball, I talk about in quite a few videos, but it is paramount. It is truly paramount to getting that compression. With the left shoulder staying down, okay? The arm straightening here. I'm going to link below another lesson about accelerating the arms through and collecting that way, but it is key to hitting your irons pure, okay? So there we have it. What do you think? Are you going to play one of them, two of them, three of them? Work on your game to stop hitting at it. If you're a culprit of it, hitting fat shots and all this kind of stuff, all right? You want to feel like you're swinging through, committing to that energy that's past the ball. To recap, look at in the front of the ball, all right? You can add some flow and momentum to your swings and practice them, even just presetting and practice that commitment through. Then you've got the left chest moving down, all right, through impact. So you're committing to moving everything that way, but through, which is where the straightening of the arms past impact will really help take care of that, okay? So there you go. Happy golfing, happy simple golfing. Let me know if you're going to apply one of those, and if you haven't already, check out the Art Simple Golf Club below.